Islam. That is going to be our topic for today. And to start off, we're going to start off by going through Hadith number 227 from Nahjul Balagha. This Hadith says, Amir al-Mu'mineen, peace be upon him, was asked about belief, Iman. And he had said, belief means appreciation with the heart, acknowledgement with the tongue, and actions with the limbs. Can everyone tell me what they think that means, that hadith by Amir al-Mu'mineen? Very good, that you have trust in your heart. Excellent. Okay, so I'll go through the hadith one more time. The hadith states, belief means appreciation with the heart, acknowledgement with the tongue, and action with the limbs. Excellent. I see some really good points coming up. Very good. Use your body parts in the way Allah wants you to use them. Excellent. Your body works together. Control it. Very good. You pray with your limbs. Excellent. These are wonderful points that are coming up, which is really nice to see. Excellent. We should be respectful. We should never be lazy. Very good. Excellent. Everything comes from the heart. Very good. You should appreciate the gifts that you get from Allah. Excellent. Wonderful points, and this is a beautiful hadith that we can take and we can apply within our lives as well. So since today is also the final class, another point that we're going to be going through is going to be, after this course of Nahjul Balagha is over, how we can continue to explore the wonders and beauty within Nahjul Balagha. Does anyone have any ideas on, after this course is done, how can we continue to explore this beautiful treasure that we have with us involving Nahjul Balagha? Does anyone have any ideas on how we can continue? That's right, we can read it and do what it says. We can create projects about Nahjul Balagha. Excellent. To do research, we can go to majlises that talk about it. Very good. Excellent. We can read it and understand it. So we can research it. Excellent. We can look at the online Nahjul Balagha. Use what we learned from this webinar. Excellent. We can write an article about what we've learned. Apply it in our lives. Excellent. Sermon a day. Very good. Excellent. Those are really good answers. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to give you all some of my other ideas on how you can continue to explore the treasures. One of the ways what you can do is you can create a Nahjul Balagha journal. What this would involve is it would involve having a notebook, and every day or every week you pick out one hadith, a sermon, or a letter, you read it, and then you write what you understand from it, the key points from it, and how you can apply it within your life. This way, throughout your life, you can continue to have that strong connection with Nahjul Balagha. Another thing which you can also do is, if you like art and you like design, you can select a hadith, a sermon, or a letter, and you can illustrate it. So that way you can visually see what that part that you've chosen looks like if you're more into the arts. And another way which you can continue to explore Nahjul Balagha is if you create a memorization challenge for yourself. You can challenge yourself to see if you can memorize one hadith from Nahjul Balagha every day, or one part of a letter or a sermon. You can challenge yourself to see how many you can memorize in a week, and you can also then compare with your friends as well. And then taking that, what you've memorized, you can also, it makes it easier for you to be able to apply it within your lives as well. So those are some ways in which you can continue to explore Nahjul Balagha after this course has ended. So now one of the topics that we're going to be covering involves the Ahlul Bayt in Nahjul Balagha. So when we think about Ahlul Bayt and Nahjul Balagha, what parts of the Ahlul Bayt do we think are going to be covered in Nahjul Balagha before we go into the points that we're going to talk about? Any guesses on how we can connect Ahlul Bayt and Nahjul Balagha? Very good. It's about their advice. Excellent. Their knowledge. Good. The 12th Imam. Excellent. At the end, you'll get the link so you'll be able to see it. Yes. That's right. They're important in Allah's eyes. Very good. They're important. What they did and how it reflects us. Excellent. Their akhlaq. Very good. Everything they said, that's right. The 14 Muslimin. Very good. Excellent. Their kindness. Very good. Their qualities. After you'll be able to see the slides, inshallah. The teaching, very good. Relate the teaching to Nahjul Balagha, like Imam Ali wrote. Excellent. Their akhlaq, their importance to Islam, very good. The Holy Prophet, very good. So now we're going to actually go in and take a look at one of the parts on how the Ahlul Bayt are connected to Nahjul Balagha. So we're going to talk a little bit about Khutbah 97, and I know you may not have it right in front of you, so make sure you listen very carefully. In Khutbah 97, it says, when Allah was mentioned, their eyes flowed freely till their shirt collars were drenched. They trembled for fear of punishment and hope of reward, as the tree trembles on the day of stormy wind. So this khutbah part that we just talked about shows us the strong connection the members of the Ahlul Bayt had with Allah. Shows how strong their connection had been. Are there any other points that people think of when they think of the Khutbah 97? When they think about when Allah was mentioned, their eyes flowed freely till their shirt collars were drenched. They trembled for fear of punishment and hope of reward, as the tree trembles on the day of stormy wind. What are some of the points that we get about the type of connection the Ahlul Bayt had with Allah? Very, very good. Very good points coming up. That's right. Even though they didn't do bad, they still asked for forgiveness and still had that strong connection with Allah at all times. That's right. The importance of fearing Allah. That's right, because Allah can punish you or reward you. Very good. That's right. They feared Him, and they also had that strong connection to Allah as well. They always made sure they stayed with Allah. Very good. Excellent. They had that strong connection. And if we think about this part of the khutbah that we looked at, it also relates to an ayat of the Holy Quran as well. It relates to Surah Al-Hashr, ayat number 13, when it says, Indeed, they have a greater fear for you in their hearts than of Allah. That is because they are people who do not understand. What this is basically saying is within our lives, there could be people that we maybe fear and that we may disappoint them. We need to make sure that our connection with Allah is the strongest. We need to fear the most when we do actions that could potentially displease Allah, because we want to have that strong connection with Allah at all times, which is really important. Because those that don't have faith in Allah are going to fear other people more than they fear Allah. So we need to make sure that we have this strong connection. And the ayat that we talked about from Surah Al-Hashr, ayat 13, actually is referring to the hypocrites. Because hypocrites are people that were afraid of the believers, they were afraid of other people, but they did not fear Allah as much as they should have. So we need to make sure that we have this strong connection with Allah and we don't fear anybody more than Allah, especially when it comes to disappointing Allah. We want to make sure that we do good actions, and we make sure if we make a mistake, we ask for forgiveness from Allah. So now another part when we think about Ahlul Bayt and Nahjul Balagha that we're going to look at is from Khutbah 154. So listen closely to this, so that way we will be able to discuss it. In Khutbah 154, it says, the delicacies of the Quran are about them, Ahlul Bayt, the descendants of the Prophet. They are the treasures of Allah. When they speak the truth. But when they keep quiet, no one can speak unless they speak. What are some thoughts that come to our mind when we think about this? About the high status that the Ahlul Bayt had when it came to the way they spoke. That's right, when they spoke, they were always truthful, excellent. They're also very honest, excellent. Very good. Spoke with Allah's words, excellent. Imams are about the Quran, very good. They were humble, excellent. The leader should be truthful, excellent. So this tells us a lot about the different ways they spoke. Excellent. So those are very good points that are coming up. They have the best akhlaq. Very good. So now another question that I have for all of you. What can we do to strengthen the connection that we have with the Ahlul Bayt? What can we do in our lives to make sure we have that strong connection with them? So the question was, how can we strengthen the connection that we have with the Ahlul Bayt? That's right, we can pray in namaz, excellent. We can read the Quran, that's right. We can follow them and their hadith is excellent. We can respect them, very good. We can concentrate on our namaz, very good. Go on ziyarat. We can learn about them and follow them, very good. Excellent. We can be nice to others, that's right, because that's part of the teachings of them. We can follow their teachings and act and like them, that's right. They are excellent role models. Another point that's also mentioned is about continue to read Nahjul Balagha, because within that, we're going to see that there's so much more mention about the Ahlul Bayt in them. Very good. We can learn about them. Very good. Those are excellent points that are coming up. Very good. And now the next one, the last part of Ahlul Bayt, the Nahjul Balagha we're going to look at, is actually a really beautiful khutbah. If we look at the way, uses a beautiful example to do when it talks about describing the Ahlul Bayt. So listen closely to this khutbah and you're going to see why it's so beautiful in the way it's being described. So in khutbah 100, it says, beware. The example of the descendants, Ali of Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him and his descendants, is like that of stars in the sky. When one star sets, another one rises. So you are in a position that Allah's blessings on you have been perfected, and He has shown you what you use to wish for. So we look at how beautiful this khutbah is in the way it uses the example of stars, which is really nice. So what are some points that we think of when we think of this khutbah that was just mentioned? That's right. How they're still leaders. Excellent. Yes, this is from khutbah 100. That's right. The descendants of the Holy Prophet are perfect and they will never be gone. That's right. Right. They're always going to be there to guide us. Very good. Excellent point. They'll always be with you. Also very true and good point. Excellent. Always believe in them. Very good. That's correct. That's right. Beautiful how it compares the Ahlul Bayt and uses the example of stars. See, that's where we can also see the beauty in the way Imam Ali uses the words and communicates things in Nahjul Balagha. You can really see the eloquence of the way he communicated within this khutbah because it's such a beautiful example. That's right. They will always be there for you. Very good. Good. Very good. So those are excellent points that people mention, which is very good. And actually, there's one more that we're going to be taking a look at from Khutbah 239. And this one is also really nice because it's very clear in the way it talks about the Ahlul Bayt's role that they have. Within this Khutbah 239, it states, they are life for knowledge and death for ignorance. They do not go against right, nor do they differ. They are the pillars of Islam. With them, right has returned to its position, and wrong has left its place, and its tongue is severed from its root. So this is also a really beautiful khutbah that basically shows us the high status of the Ahlul Bayt, how they are the life of knowledge and the death for ignorance, which is really beautiful, and how they are the pillars of Islam. Without them, Islam, that's right, without them it would really change the religion if they weren't there, because they play such an important role in Islam that we're going to see. And within the next section that we're going to talk about, we're actually going to be looking at more into the topic of Islam in Nahjul Balagha. Excellent. These are very good points that are coming up. They preached their knowledge. Very good. Excellent. That's right. It's very important that we believe in them as well. How Islam would not be the same without them. That's right. And the Ahlul Bayt are also very important to us. Excellent. And how they showed good akhlaq. Very good. So in terms of the leaf scavenger hunt, inshallah, we'll discuss that at the end of the presentation. So now, the next part which we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the topic of Islam as described in Nahjul Balagha. So when we think about Islam and Nahjul Balagha, what kind of guidance about Islam do we think is going to be found in Nahjul Balagha? Islam and Nahjul Balagha, how are they going to be connected? What kind of things do we think that Imam Ali is going to communicate to us about Islam within Nahjul Balagha? Any guesses on how that is going to be connected? That's right. There's a lot, all of it is. There's certain areas within Islam that we're going to talk about that are actually very interesting and also very practical for us. That's right, how to behave. Right, there's also parts in it that talk about the 12th Imam. Very good. Excellent. For a clock, very good. Get into heaven and hell and what to do and what not to do. Very good. Excellent. Very good. Some great points coming up. So the first one that we're going to take a look at is actually one of my favorite hadiths. It's hadith number 390. So make sure you listen carefully because this is a beautiful one that contains a lot of practical guidance that we can actually take and apply within our lives as well. Within this hadith 390, it states, the believer's time has 3 periods. The period when he is in communication with Allah, the period when he manages his livelihood, and the period when he is free to enjoy what is lawful and pleasant. It does not behove a wise person to be away from his house, save for 3 matters, namely for purpose of earning, or going for something for the next life, or for enjoying what is not prohibited. So this beautiful hadith tells us from the guidance that we get that within our day, we need to make sure that we divide our day into 3 parts. The first part of one third of our time should be spent in communication with Allah. The next part of it should be spent with our livelihood, any work that we have, any school kind of work within the working nature. And then the third part should be spent to enjoy what we like as long as it is done lawful and it is allowed in Islam. That is the way we are guided on how we should allocate our time in our day within these 3 parts. Very good point, Celine. That's right. We should work hard, but have fun as well. That's right. Make sure within our lives we maintain that balance. We ensure that we leave time to do our work, communication with Allah, and also leave time for enjoyment and pleasure, which is also very important as well. That's right. We enjoy our day, and we make sure that we try to have about 1/3 of the day left for overall for remembering Allah. That's right. Yes, Fatima, that what the best part is to make sure we have this kind of balance in our life. So it also leads us to reflect within our life. Is this the way we are allocating our time in the day? Are we leaving at least 1/3 of the day for Allah? Are we leaving 1/3 for our work and our studies? And are we leaving 1/3 for pleasant things? This is something which what we can do is maybe make a sketch on how we're spending our day, and maybe then go back and see how we are allocating our time in the day. Because this is a beautiful one that guides us within Islam. It's important for us to think about how we are able to allocate the time in our day, which is really important. That's right. We want to make sure we split our day into these 3 parts. So this is beautiful guidance in terms of how we allocate our time. That's right. When you're enjoying your day, make sure Allah is happy with you. So when you're doing things for pleasant, make sure they are things that are halal and they are allowed in Islam. That's right. It's a good point. That's right. Within the Jewish culture, there's one full day that's devoted to Allah. Very good. So for dividing our day, examples of how we can do it. So one, when we're thinking about dividing our day as an example, you can think about the number of hours you spend in school. And then the next part could be after school. Let's say you leave time for enjoyment, a bit of time before school. And also you make sure that within your day, when you're allocating time, let's say within Salat time, remember when you're praying Subuh, you leave time for lots of communication at this time, maybe du'as, lots of tasbih, lots of supplication. Then you continue to do that when you recite Zohar and Asr prayers. You also leave lots of time for communicating with Allah. You don't just rush in your prayers. And then when you pray Maghrib and Isha, during that time you also maximize. And within your day, you also make sure you keep this constant communication with Allah. When you are studying, you could maybe make the intention that I'm studying purpose of gaining knowledge, and you pray to Allah to help you. So that way, even while you are doing your work and while you are doing your studies, you are still keeping that communication with Allah. You are able to have your work and have communication with Allah at the same time by the niyat that you make when you are doing your work. You want to make sure you keep that strong connection at all time. And even when you work or when you're doing anything for pleasure and enjoyment, you could still keep that connection with Allah going throughout your daily life as well. And not even just when you do salat, but throughout your time as well. So it's also very beautiful because we can see examples of time management in the life of the Holy Prophet. So a beautiful story that takes place was when the Holy Prophet used to play with his grandchildren and enjoyed leisure time with his grandchildren. There was once a story Ali and the Holy Prophet were sitting together and eating dates. The Prophet would take his date and put the seed near Imam Ali's side and then told Imam Ali, "You are so hungry that you ate so much." The Imam would reply and say, "At least I left the seeds out, as it looks like you ate the seeds. You ate the dates with the seeds in them as well." So this shows that even the Holy Prophet left time to do things that were pleasant and had this enjoyment with his grandchildren, that even prophets left time to do things that were pleasant as well. Even Imam Khomeini, in his book, Happiness and Sorrow in Islam, tells his son to make sure that in his life, when it's actually time for leisure, he tells his son to make sure he's not working then, and when it's time for work, he is not doing leisure, to make sure he maintains the balance within his life as well. So this is a beautiful hadith that we can take and we can reflect on, and how we can make sure that we can be better at time management within our lives. That's right, there's time for everything as long as we are able to plan our time accordingly. Very good. So the next part for Islam in Nahjul Balagha that we are going to look at comes from Khutbah 106. And this is also a beautiful way in which the Imam describes Islam. That's really beautiful in the way the words are communicated. So in Khutbah 106, it says, "It has dignified minarets, bright highways, honorable fields of activity, and high objective. It is a collection of racehorses. It is approached eagerly. Its riders are honorable. Testimony of Allah, the prophets, as well, etc., is its way. Good deeds are its minarets. Death is its extremity. This world is its race course. The day of judgment is its horses, and paradise is its point of approach." You can see how beautiful this khutbah is able to describe Islam. It describes in such a creative way by using words such as the collection of resources. It approached eagerly. Its writers are honorable. Testimony of Allah, prophets, etc. is its way. Good deeds are its minarets. Death is its extremity. This world is its race course. The day of judgment is its horses, and paradise is its point of approach. We can see this is so beautiful in the way everything is being described. It's a wonderful one in terms of how it describes it. So when we think of this Khutbah 106, what are some thoughts that come into your mind? That's right, it is beautiful. That's right. We can definitely in this one see as well. The eloquence of the way Imam Ali is communicating is so beautiful in the way he's able to communicate and use the example of even resources and how even to put it together. That's right. That's right. A Muslim should be like a strong tower. Very good. So the topic of this was talking about Islam. It's basically summarizing the key points in Islam when it comes to Nahjul Balagha. It shows us what an amazing religion this is, which is wonderful. And this Khutbah 106 can also be related to an ayah from the Holy Quran. If we look at Surah Al-Anfal, ayah 24, it says, "O you who believe, answer the call of Allah and the Messenger when He calls you to that which gives you life." Now what this ayat is telling us is it basically does a good job, and it can tell us what Islam is in a nutshell. It tells us if someone were to ask the aim of Islam, what it can do for us, the aspect is it covers all aspects within our world. It grants us and helps us to have a life that is physically meaningful, that is spiritual, that is social, intellectual. Islam focuses on all aspects of our life, which is so wonderful that we need to remember. It's beautiful in the way that how our Islam can guide us in every part of our life, which is summarized in both the Quranic ayat that I just mentioned, as well as in Khutbah 106. That's why we are so blessed to have such a wonderful religion that is able to cover all parts of our life, which is really nice. So now that we've covered all aspects of how we talked about how Islam is all encompassing and covers so much, the next part that we're going to talk about is how we are able to continue and seek nearness to Allah. We can do this by looking at Khutbah 110. In this Khutbah it says, the best means by which seekers of nearness to Allah, the glorified, the exalted, seek nearness is the belief in Him and His Prophet, fighting in His cause, for it is the high pinnacle of Islam. To believe in the Kalamul Ikhlas, for it is just nature. Establishment of prayers, for it is the basis of community. Payment of zakat, Islamic tax, for it is a compulsory obligation. Fasting for the month of Ramadan, for it is the shield against chastisement. The performance of Hajj of the house of Allah, the Kaaba and Umrah, other than the annual visit, for these two acts banish poverty and wash away sins. Regard for kinship, for it increases wealth and length of life. Give alms secretly, for it covers shortcomings. Give alms openly, for it protects against a bad death. And extending benefits to people, for it saves from positions of disgrace. So we can see within this Khutbah 110, it gives us many different suggestions on how we can seek nearness to Allah. In this, the Imam gives us a lot of different pointers on how we can continue to maintain this closeness with Allah at all times, which is really beautiful. Are there any key points that anybody picked up from this khutbah on how we can maintain this nearness to Allah? That's right. Saum, Zakat, Hajj, Salat. Very good. Inshallah. Always pray on time. Saum by praying. Very good. Excellent. Very good. Fasting is very important. Very good. For mustahabs. Praying on time, reading the Quran, doing dua to pray on time. Very good. Excellent. A very good point. So now what I actually want to share with you is the way Ayatollah Sistani has basically given us guidance when it comes to Nahjul Balagha as a whole. So Ayatollah Sistani also believes how special this book is of Nahjul Balagha. He has said, this precious book is a true mirror showcase of the history of Islam and the different events that took place after the death of the Holy Prophet. In this, Imam Ali alayhi salam encompasses an important part of conduct, moral virtues, knowledge, and jurisprudence. It is benefiting for all Muslims to benefit from this book in their religious matters, to learn from it, and use it for self-purification. I recommend all, especially the youth, to give special importance to studying this book, reflecting on it, and memorizing a part of it. What is expected to those who claim to love the Imam and who wish to have lived in his life so that they could hear his advice and benefit from his guidance and walk in his path, is to fulfill their wish by benefiting from the contents of this book. So we can see Ayatollah Sistani has given us a lot of advice on how we can benefit from the teachings of Nahjul Balagha and why it is so important for us to continue to look into the beauties within this book as well. So now what I'd like to do is, I'd like to mention to you a few key things since it's a final class when it comes to being able to get a certificate for completing this course. So since this is the final class, there is an end of course survey, which if you fill out, you are able to earn a certificate by email for completing this course. So inshallah, I'm going to try to send it to you on the text box, the link to be able to access the survey. But if you are not able to get the link on this chat box, please send me an email and I will send you the link to a very short survey that basically asks you your thoughts about the course, the parts that you like, the parts that you maybe like to learn more about, any of your suggestions, so that inshallah we may be able to have more courses like this in the future. And after you fill out the survey, there's a part that asks you for your name and the email address that you'd like to have where we can send you the certificate for the course completion. So if you do not see it come up within the chat box, the link for the survey, please make sure you send me an email and I will send you the link. After you fill it out, you can get a certificate for completing the course. I'm going to try to post it in the chat box, but if it doesn't come up, please send me an email and I will send you the link. And also the slides for this presentation, I apologize that a lot of you were not able to see them. They will also be posted, so that way you can go through the different parts that we talked about and you can actually see the different components of it. So I apologize in this class you had a bit of trouble seeing the slides, But thank you so much for still being able to participate so actively, despite not being able to see the slides. You all did a wonderful job, especially in this class, given it was a little bit challenging that you had to just base it on your listening as opposed to seeing the slides. So you guys did an excellent job, and thank you very much for cooperating. It has been my pleasure to be able to teach you all about Nahjul Balagha, and inshallah, look forward to hopefully seeing you in future courses that we have, and looking forward to the feedback that you give on the course to be able to, inshallah, have more courses for us all to be able to learn together. Hope this course has been enjoyable and you learned a lot from this course as well.